In an alternate reality within the Marvel multiverse, a single decision changes the fate of one of the most beloved superheroes. Peter Parker, better known as Spider-Man, faced with unimaginable tragedy, is driven down a dark path, transforming into a vigilante unlike any other. Marvel's What If Peter Parker Became the Punisher explores a twisted version of the Marvel Universe where the iconic wall crawler embraces the lethal methods of the Punisher. Our tale commences with Peter Parker and a group of his classmates gathered in a laboratory. Their curious gazes fixated on a radioactive spider with a skull-like symbol. Suddenly, in a twist of fate, Peter finds himself bitten by this enigmatic arachnid. In an instant, he is out on the bustling streets where his newfound powers manifest in awe-inspiring fashion. With remarkable agility and grace, he effortlessly swings from flagpoles and bounds off walls, embracing his extraordinary abilities. What if Peter Parker became the Punisher? As the spider bite opens up a world of possibilities for Peter, offering a chance to reshape his life, a friend of his suggests, "With your skills, I bet we could make a fortune on television. Keep that mass persona of yours, it's good showmanship." But he hasn't seen anything yet. Designing a unique costume and crafting ingenious web shooters, Peter takes to the airwaves, exploiting his sensational abilities for monetary gain. Yet he fails to recognize the potential to utilize his powers for the greater good, even allowing a burglar who has stolen money from a television show to escape backstage. His world comes crashing down as his beloved Uncle Ben falls victim to a callous burglar when he interrupts their home invasion. Consumed by grief and anger, Peter races to a warehouse where the police have cornered the perpetrator, yearning to confront him. Seizing the element of surprise, Peter confronts the burglar from behind, his spider sense tingling with an ominous foreboding, granting him a warning of imminent danger. Reacting instinctively, he evades a bullet only to realize that the assailant before him is the same man he had previously allowed to slip through his fingers. Overwhelmed by fury, Peter realizes that it was his own negligence that contributed to Uncle Ben's demise. But in the heat of the moment, a struggle ensues, and a curious onlooker, a photographer, captures the chaotic scene without comprehension. Words of confusion escape the intruder's lips, but in the ensuing scuffle, a gunshot echoes through the air. The would-be murderer is wounded and retreats, clutching his bloodied chest. Peter, reacting swiftly, saves the bewildered photographer from a perilous fall over the edge. But nevertheless, the media reception surrounding the actions of the punishing spider remains far from favorable. Undeterred by public opinion, Peter vows that no innocent soul shall suffer the fate of his beloved uncle, even if the world condemns him for it. Webbing up cameras to capture his vigilantism, he embarks on a crusade, handing out justice to those who would perpetrate evil. These photograph evidence, presented to the discerning eyes of Jonah Jameson, grant Peter a financial lifeline, despite the editor's inherent bias. Thus far, Peter manages to carry out his duties without resorting to the gun he appropriated from Uncle Ben's assailant. However, the relentless tide of supervillains continues to assail him, their return with each encounter growing more menacing. Among his recurrent adversaries, the Green Goblin emerges as the most formidable, his armor boasting the unnerving ability to repel bullets. The Goblin's imperviousness becomes a source of concern for Peter, fearing that his efforts to maintain order might be in jeopardy. Though he does everything he can, the villain's bulletproof capabilities afford him the means of escape, further amplifying the threat he possesses. Realizing that he must devise a new strategy to safeguard the innocent, Peter delves into his inventiveness, creating wrist-mounted guns that fire various types of ammunition, including incendiary rounds. Peter's innovative arsenal is put to the test when he confronts the Sinister Six, a formidable group that has recently threatened those closest to him. Employing an electromagnetic pulse, Peter disables Electro, neutralizing the electrically charged adversary. Swiftly switching to explosive rounds, he dispatches Kraven, Mysterio, and Sandman in quick succession. Finally, employing incendiary rounds, he turns Sandman into fragile glass constructs, shattering him. As for Dr. Octopus, the mastermind behind the threats to Peter's loved ones, a well-placed armor-piercing round neutralizes his robotic appendages, leading to his ultimate defeat. Peter's secret identity remains concealed from his Aunt May, who now fears the vigilante known as the Punisher, recognizing the conflicting emotions that arise from capturing images on his violent encounters. Peter grapples with the fact that the criminal underworld of New York City remains momentarily quiet, leaving him to wrestle with haunting nightmares. With the nightmares subsiding, Peter attempts to move forward in life. He enrolls in college, befriends Harry Osborn, and discovers an affection for Gwen Stacy. As he embraces his role as a smitten college student, the criminal world once again erupts in violence, reclaiming the streets in his absence. Deciding to return to crime fighting, Peter finds himself ensnared by the Green Goblin, who drugs him, rendering him helpless and exposed. The villain seizes the opportunity to uncover Peter's secret identity, while simultaneously revealing himself as Norman Osborn. Peter begins to mock him, saying that he was only able to capture him because of the drugs. However, Norman says to Peter that he'll release him, proposing a confrontation without the aid of his guns, a proposition to which Peter confidently agrees. Engaging in a fierce battle, Peter emerges triumphant, with Norman experiencing a moment of lucidity, acknowledging that his amnesia had inadvertently protected him and his loved ones. This revelation leaves Peter unable to deliver the killing blow. Months later, however, Norman regains his memory and descends into madness, seeking vengeance against Peter. Desperate to strike Peter at the most vulnerable point, Norman kidnaps Gwen, leaving behind a chilling token of a pumpkin and a purple scarf as a calling card. Pursuing the deranged goblin, Peter confronts him on the bridge, where the villain gives him an ultimatum: remove his web shooters and plunge to his ultimate demise if he wishes to spare Gwen's life. But Peter, seeing no other choice, aims a fatal shot at Norman's chest and fires. As the Green Goblin plummets from the bridge, Gwen plummets alongside him, prompting the desperate cry from Peter. He strives to save her, deploying his webs with all his might, but she collides with the machinery during the fall. Hastily removing his mask, Peter attempts to resuscitate her, only for Gwen to awaken and see his true identity. In shock, she utters, "Peter, you saved me," to which he somberly replies, "I'm afraid I nearly got you killed." We flash forward and witness Norman Osborn's lifeless body laid out on an autopsy table, with Peter and Harry present to identify him. But Harry is overwhelmed with grief, so Peter insists on bringing him home. On their way out the door, Harry vows to avenge his father and take down the Punisher, as he believes it falls upon him to punish the one who punishes others. On his way to Gwen's hospital room, Peter reflects on his superheroic journey, contemplating whether he has caused more harm than good. He resolves to reveal his true identity to Gwen, allowing him to focus on being a devoted partner and perhaps a loving husband. Upon entering her hospital room, they embrace each other tightly, their connection filled with warmth and genuine affection. As Peter watches the news, he contemplates the power and responsibility he possesses to bring happiness to the woman he loves, recognizing the mistakes he's made along the way. Determined to forge a new path, he shreds his Punisher suit, tearing it apart, disposing of it in the garbage. With conviction in his voice, he proclaims, "I have chosen a path of love, not vengeance, and that has made all the difference." Now walking beside Gwen, their health restored and spirits high, they depart the hospital ready to embrace their new life together. Yet within Central Park, a former banker named Forrest Hunt is strung up from a tree, his misdeeds involving embezzlement from drug lord transactions exposing him to the wrath of his associates. As Frank Castle and his family innocently stroll through the park, the drug cartel mercilessly guns them down, leaving behind a trail of bodies. Although it is believed that the entire Castle family perished that day, Frank Castle's body is never officially found amidst the carnage. In a scene of bloodshed, Frank Castle emerges wounded and disoriented, stumbling upon a discarded, torn skull shirt, which he dons as a symbol of his rebirth, determined to face whatever the future holds. He shakily departs, leaving us to wonder about the dark path he shall tread. The end. And that concludes our deep dive into the alternate reality presented in Marvel's What If Peter Parker Became the Punisher. This thrilling journey took us on a dark and introspective exploration of the consequences of Peter Parker's transformation into a lethal vigilante. If you enjoyed this, please tell us in the comment section what was your favorite part. Like and comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you for coming here at True Power Comics.